UFC Freedom 250 just took place this weekend, Sunday, June 14th. I'm going to break down the entire card starting from top to bottom. I'm going to cover every big moment. Let's get straight into it with the very first fight of the night, Diego Lopes versus Steve Garcia. Now, before we get into the fight specifics, let me just say that this should not have been the first fight on this card. We have two ranked featherweights going before two unranked middleweights in Bo Nickel and Kyle Daukaus. So I think that Bo Nickel versus Kyle Daukaus should have been the first fight on this card. But anyway, this was a good fight. Diego Lopes gets it done in round two. I think Garcia won the first round. He came out strong. Lopes looked a little slow and he couldn't really find his range early on. You definitely saw Garcia was a little bit more comfortable in there to start, but overall, I think that Lopes was going to win this because he's just fought better competition. Garcia is on a 5-win, I think he's on 5 or 6 fight win streak right now, but the competition that he's fought just hasn't been there. I mean, when you look at his last win, it was against David Onama, not a very well-known or very good fighter. Everybody that Lopes has fought has been really good, specifically his last 3 fights with Volkanovski and John Silva. And now I know that he lost twice to Volkanovski, but one of the greatest featherweights of all time in Alexander Volkanovski, there's only so much you can do. But that fight against Gene Silva with Lopes, I mean, I think he lost that first round of that fight, but he came out strong in round 2, knocked him out with that spinning back elbow. So, Lopes had the skill and the experience advantage here over Garcia. I don't really think Garcia had seen these types of big moments before, but Lopes gets it done. Lopes is one of those fighters where you want to see him get in the mix and throw punches, but a lot of times I feel like Lopes can't hit his opponent unless he's also getting hit. So you saw that in the second round. The second round only lasted 2 minutes and 42 seconds, but in the second round, Lopes came out, and I think he spoke to his corner, and they told him, hey, look, you're going to have to go out here and you're going to have to get hit and you're going to have to compromise yourself because that's one of the only ways that you can kind of open yourself up and start, landing shots on your opponent. That's exactly what happened. He came out strong in round 2 with a purpose and he landed a couple of good shots. He was fighting behind his jab. And then eventually he gets that knockdown. And then I think it was a good stoppage. I mean, Garcia he was overwhelmed. There was nothing he could do. Great fight by Lopes, fan favorite. I'm a huge Diego Lopes fan, so that was really cool for me to see. This was a great way to start it off. This whole card in general was insanity. Every single fight ended in a knockout or a TKO. Just the best card that you could have asked for as a fan, and what a better way to get it started off with this fight here. As for what's next, I'd really like to see, Lopes fight for the title one day. I think he can, and he will eventually, but, Volk has his number right now, so I don't see him fighting for the title as long as Volk is in the division. Until then, on to the next. Next up, we have Bo Nickel versus Kyle Daukaus. Bo Nickel gets it done at the end of round 1. This was a really interesting matchup, I think, because Daukaus is, he's a BJJ guy. So I didn't know what to expect out of him coming in, but we all know that Bo is a wrestler. He's a 3-time NCAA Division I champion at Penn State. So we know that Bo can wrestle, and Daukaus comes from a jiu-jitsu background. I was really excited to see how this was going to end up, but Bo Nickel gets it done in round 1, and Bo has shown a lot of improvement over the last couple of fights. I think his loss to Rene de Ritter, however you say it, that loss really set him on this comeback. He has just improved a lot in his last 2 fights. We saw Bo Nickal's comeback win against Rafael Vieira. What a great fight from Bo. I mean, based off of that last fight, I knew that Bo was probably going to come out here and try and finish it on the feet. I mean, even though Vieira is a BJJ guy, I think this was a testament to Bo Nickal's improvement in the UFC. And I think, look, it's time to make Bo Nickal a ranked middleweight. It's time to give him a number next to his name, put him in the mix, and give him somebody who's a little bit better than a guy like Kyle Dawkins. Give him something better. I mean, who knows? There's a lot of contenders out there I think Nickal could fight, but he deserves to be a ranked fighter. He's shown a lot of improvement. He gets another first-round finish, so good job by Bo, and we'll see what's next for him. On to the next. Next up, we have Mauricio Huffy versus Michael Chandler. Poor Michael Chandler. At this point, I really feel bad for Chandler. He's 1-6 in the UFC now. There's definitely not a clear path for him to get any sort of a contending title shot. I mean, look, let's be honest. Michael Chandler should retire, and this was a great fight to retire on. Look, you got to fight at the White House. It was a great experience for you, I'm sure, but look, it's time to wrap it up, hang the gloves up. You know, it's tough because I like Michael Chandler, but everybody knew what was going to happen going into this fight. Mauricio Huffy came in at a minus 580 favorite. I think at one point I even saw it was more than that, so this was supposed to happen. I mean, this is exactly what everybody wanted to see. I think a lot of the matchmaking on this entire card was kind of made with the idea that, oh, we're going to get a crazy viral knockout here, and that's pretty much what we got. You saw Chandler scramble early, running around. You know, Huffy, I love the way Huffy fights. He's calm, he's calculated, he's a sniper. Every shot that you see Huffy take is, you know, with precision and accuracy. I love to watch Huffy fight. He's kind of like a Conor McGregor 2.0. I know that's what everybody says, but he does fight like McGregor. Poor Michael Chandler, because he sat out all of 2023. He had one fight in 2024 and one fight in 2025, and he was begging for so long to get his fight with Conor McGregor, and they pass him up. They give Conor McGregor a fight with Max Holloway in July, which is going to be really exciting. Can't wait for that. But it's just sad to see Michael Chandler go out like this. He's had good moments in the UFC. There's just nobody in the UFC I would want Chandler to fight because it's not going to be close. Huffy is a contender. Give him a top 5 ranked lightweight. I think he deserves it. Again, that's exactly what everybody wanted to see, and we got it. We got the viral knockout. Look, Chandler just does not have the cardio or the versatility to keep up with anybody in the lightweight division. Get him out. Get a new fighter in. I'm sorry, but it's time. Not much to say about this one other than it's just they were fighting a completely different fight. You saw right off of the bat that Chandler was scared of Huffy's range. Huffy's a really long guy. I think he comes in at like 5'11". Huffy was a minus 600 favorite at one point, like minus 585, and it was for good reason. We saw why. Yeah, not much else to say. Give Huffy a top 5 contender and get Michael Chandler out of the lightweight division. I'm sorry. Next up, we have Josh Hokett versus Derek Lewis. Now, I want to ask you guys a serious question. Do you think Derek Lewis actually trained for this fight? Because based off what I saw, I don't think he trained at all. It looked like he came into this fight completely unprepared for anything that Hokett had. I mean, Hokett was coming in, kind of mixing it up. He kind of like faked a takedown early in round 1, but I got to say this about Hokett. He's damn good, and I want to see him fight for the heavyweight championship one day. I think he probably has 1, maybe 2 more fights before he gets there, but I think he's well deserving of it. I mean, anytime you're going up against a guy like Derek Lewis, you always have to be afraid of, am I going to get knocked out? Josh Hokett knew going into this that Derek Lewis had the power to knock him out, but I love the way Hokett fights. I mean, he goes in there with speed, with power, and he's actually pretty smart. The way he fights is calculated. He didn't really get hit. Did Derek Lewis land a punch in this whole fight? I'm not going to look at the stats right now, but just based off of what I watched in 2 rounds, I don't even think he landed one significant strike. Nothing that was significant enough to change the momentum of the fight. He did nothing, and he had nothing for Hokett to, take him off his game plan. I am a little bit surprised I didn't see Hokett come out here and wrestle a little bit more, but when you're, landing strikes like he was on his feet, there's really no need to wrestle. I mean, Hokett came out here with a clear speed advantage against Lewis. Dude, Lewis looked so slow. I mean, it's sad. Lewis has got the most knockouts in UFC history, and he's got the power to put guys out with one punch, but I think that's all he has. Let's be honest. He doesn't have the skill anymore at age 41 to Josh Hokett, who's a 28-year-old. He doesn't have the skill anymore to compete with anybody in the top 15, I don't think. I mean, Derek Lewis came in here at a number 9 ranked heavyweight. I think you need to take that number away because he is not a ranked heavyweight. I understand that the heavyweight division is very top heavy, but Hokett was just miles faster than him. You saw that right out of the gate in round 1. And I had a feeling that was going to happen. Look, Hokett came in here weighing 230, 235, and Derek Lewis traditionally weighs in at like 260, 265. So I knew with that 30 pounds there was going to be a lot of power advantage in Lewis, but there was a significant speed advantage in Hokett. Hokett's good, and I would really like to see him fight a contender. Who knows? Maybe Pereira. I don't know what Pereira's plans are after his loss tonight, but I would love to see Hokett versus Pereira. Man, I don't know who would win that one, but we could play the what-if game all night. Good win by Josh Hokett. I think his future is very bright in the UFC. He is such an athlete. This guy played football for Fresno State and wrestled. And then he goes and gets signed by the 49ers practice squad. I mean, he was on the practice squad in the NFL, a couple of teams, I think, for like 1 or 2 years. So the guy's an athlete. Anybody who Hokett fights, I know he's going to come out here with a speed advantage, probably with an explosive advantage. He's fast, he's quick, and he's got good movement for a heavyweight, man. I mean, I know it's tough to say he's got good movement when his competition today was against Derek Lewis, but good win for Hokett. Look, as for what's next for Derek Lewis, I don't think he'll ever fight for a title. Look, you're number 9 ranked right now. He's probably going to go down to 13 or 14, maybe even unranked after this fight. Probably not, but look, I think Derek Lewis should retire. Look, man, I don't know who you would fight next. He's pretty much fought everybody in the heavyweight division. I mean, maybe Derek Lewis versus Pereira. I don't know, but I don't think Pereira would really want to do that. I think if Josh Hokett wins his next fight, I could definitely see him being thrown in the mix for a title shot. That would be pretty interesting. I'd love to see Hokett versus Gane. I mean, I don't know, man. That'd be really interesting to see. But nonetheless, we move on. Next up, we have Sean O'Malley versus Aiemann Zahabi. I had a feeling that this fight was going to end in a decision, but Sean O'Malley gets it done in round 2. It was a really good performance by Sean. I think early on, Aiemann Zahabi was definitely emphasizing the leg kicks. Him and his team came out here with a game plan that they're going to kick O'Malley's legs, and that's exactly what he did. In fact, by the middle of round 2, you really saw O'Malley's inside thigh bruised. I mean, it was bruised pretty bad. I think Aiemann hit like 20 leg kicks by the second round. So Aiemann was, he had a game plan. He came out here, but Sean's movement is just a little bit, faster, quicker than Zahabi. Look, just based off Zahabi's last fight against Chito Vera, I think we all could have guessed that this is how this is going to go because the fight between Zahabi and Vera was very close. I mean, I know that a very close fight doesn't mean that it was a robbery, but uh, it was a split decision win against Chito Vera. Okay, let's be honest. And the O'Malley and Chito Vera fight, that was one of, if not the best striking performances we've ever seen at bantamweight. Just pure domination from start to finish from O'Malley. I know that Chito had a couple of good moments in that fourth round there, but O'Malley dominated him. And if you just watch that fight, I think you could have guessed this is exactly what was going to happen. But Sean was very patient in this fight. He didn't come out trying to end it early. And, Zahabi, he didn't look terrible, but again, there were a lot of questions about Zahabi's durability and his competition. Who has Zahabi fought of O'Malley's caliber? Nobody really. And O'Malley has fought some really, really good fighters. Peter Yan, Merab twice. I understand that he lost, but Merab is just a different kind of fighter. He's a different level, and O'Malley gets it done. Really great win. He calls out Peter Yan. It'd be really interesting to see that fight again. I really just don't think that they're going to give O'Malley another fight against Peter Yan, especially after that Merab fight. They're going to give Merab the rematch for sure, but who knows? Because I heard reports that Merab broke his nose again for the 12th time or whatever it was. But who knows if it's true that, Merab's kind of going through an injury here. Maybe they don't give him the rematch and maybe they give it to O'Malley. I would love to see O'Malley versus Yan. But again, we could play the what if game all night. So on to the next. Next up, we have Alex Pereira versus Ciryl Gane. This was what a fight. I mean, it's sad to see Pereira lose. I'm such a Pereira fan, and I love to watch him fight, but it's tough when you put on that much weight to keep the speed that you once had. And Pereira, a guy who's not really known for his speed or his head movement, I think he just was outclassed by Gane. I mean, Gane looked sharp. He came out in round one, hitting his jab. Gane looked solid, and Pereira didn't really have an answer. It was like hard for Pereira to find his range. Pereira, he wasn't even really throwing in the first round. After the first round, I was thinking to myself, like, is Pereira hurt? Why is he not throwing more? What's he doing? Why is he not being more active? Gane is good, man. The fight that you have to make next is Ciryl Gane versus Tom Aspinall. It's exactly what needs to happen, but I don't want to wait 6 months or a year for that fight to be made. Look, either make Ciryl Gane versus Tom Aspinall a rematch for the heavyweight title, make that in the fall or maybe late in 2026, but make it quick because Tom Aspinall needs to fight. If he's not going to fight, then who knows what's next. I've heard there's rumors that Aspinall wants out of his contract in the UFC. It's kind of a sticky situation. I even heard a rumor that Eddie Hearn, Tom Aspinall's coach, wants to terminate his UFC contract and get him out of the UFC because he's not getting paid enough. But that's a whole nother story. Look, I don't know what's next for Pereira. And it's kind of scary for me because Pereira, what is he? He's 38. He's an aging heavyweight now. I don't know if he'll stay at heavyweight or not. I mean, I think it's probably easier for Pereira to stay at heavyweight and avoid that nasty weight cut that he always deals with. But let's all be honest with each other. I think Pereira's natural weight is at 205. He needs to go back to light heavyweight, but at this point, I don't know what he's going to do. Before the fight, Pereira was already lobbying for a quick fight after this Gane fight at the White House, so I don't know what's next for Pereira. There's plenty of heavyweights that he could go against. I mean, when you're opening yourself up to a new division, there's plenty of contenders. But now that he loses to Gane, that changes up the title picture a little bit. In my opinion, Pereira should go back to 205. That's where he looks more natural. I think he was it looked like he was almost scared in this fight to engage with Ciryl Gane because he knew that Gane was twitchy. Gane is twitchy and fast and can move like a cat, and we saw that. Gane beat up Pereira, and his face was battered up by the end of that second round. So I think it was a good stoppage. As for what's next, there could be a lot of fighters next, but look, make Ciryl Gane versus Tom Aspinall. Let's not waste any time. Just do it. Everybody's waiting for that fight to be made. Just make it, Dana, and move on to the next. Now, last but not least, Illia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. Oh my God, what a fight. I have never seen anything like that before from Topuria. I can't believe Gaethje came out here and he basically did exactly what Topuria said he was going to do to Gaethje himself. It's clear that Gaethje came in here with a game plan and he chose to stick to it. He came out here determined. Justin Gaethje could have never come out here and done this if he didn't truly believe in his heart that he was going to win. I think that a lot of people talk about Topuria's confidence, but I think Justin Gaethje's confidence is underrated. He really believes in himself, in his training, in his team. The fact that Gaethje was able to come out here and batter Illia Topuria up, unlike any other fighter has ever done in the UFC, it's shocking, but it's not, because Charles Oliveira was the one who said it himself, that Justin Gaethje was the one who hit him the hardest. If you look at Topuria's last 3 fights, relatively speaking, his face really wasn't that beat up at the end of them. And Justin Gaethje battered up his entire face for 4 straight rounds. They could have stopped this fight after 3. I think, honestly, they maybe should have after 3, because I think after about 2.5 rounds, I don't think Topuria could see at all out of that right eye. And what an underdog fight from Justin Gaethje. Coming into this fight as a 5-1 or even as high as a 6-1 underdog, the fact that he was able to shut that noise out and ignore everything coming from Topuria's end and just go out there and fight his fight was insane. Justin Gaethje stood behind his jab all night. And the one thing I think Topuria always does so well is he doesn't throw a standalone punch. He doesn't throw one. He throws a combo. He throws a combo to the body and then the head. And that's where Topuria is a lot different from a lot of fighters. You never really see him just throwing one. He's not one of those fighters that's just going to throw one kind of punch. He's very versatile. He can beat you on the feet. He can beat you on the ground any way he wants. And that's really why I thought he was going to come in here and do exactly whatever he wanted to do to Gaethje. The way that Topuria beat Volkanovski and then Max Holloway and then Charles Oliveira, just back to back to back. I mean, any reasonable fan would have looked at that and said, okay, yeah, he's going to come in here and he's going to knock Gaethje out. But it's just a testament to Gaethje's durability. Gaethje's smart, too. I mean, Gaethje came out here knowing that he can't just stand in front of Topuria. Now, there were a couple of moments in the first round where I was like, oh no, Gaethje's going to stand right in front of Topuria just exactly like Oliveira did, and he's going to get knocked out. And even in round 2, I was thinking there were, 1 or 2 body shots that Topuria was giving Gaethje, and I was thinking to myself, this is going to be it. This is where it's going to end. Gaethje's going to lose because he's going to just stand in front of him and take body shots. And, there were 1 or 2 moments where Gaethje got backed up against the cage, and I got really nervous. I think Gaethje won round 1. Topuria won round 2, and then Gaethje definitively won round 3. And round 4, I mean, it was just a domination from Gaethje pretty much. At the end of the 4th round, when you saw Topuria, he kind of bailed on that takedown attempt. He kind of ended up on the ground. Gaethje sprawled, and that's when Gaethje hit that knee against Topuria. I mean, that knee was the big momentum shift change. You saw Topuria immediately shell up and put his elbow over his liver there. I mean, Gaethje hits hard, dude. You can't ignore that Charles Oliveira said that he hit him harder than anybody. And I think in round 1, Topuria, you saw him stand right in front of Gaethje, And you saw Topuria fight as if he didn't respect Gaethje's power, and Gaethje gave it right back to him. Gaethje's 1-2 jab and straight right were there all night for him. From rounds 1 to 4, that was there for Gaethje, and he used it all night. He used it very well. The other thing that you saw was, especially in rounds 1, 2, and 3, was when Topuria would enter the zone, Gaethje had that reach advantage and that height advantage against him. So every time that Topuria would enter the zone, Gaethje would just put his left hand out and hit him with a jab, and that was there all night. That's eventually how, it ended up in the sequence where Gaethje hit that uppercut and really bruised Topuria's right eye. I think that was probably the biggest moment in the fight, because when Topuria's eye started to bleed and he started to touch it, you really started to see Topuria go, okay, I'm hit, I'm hurt, I can barely see out of this right eye. I really need to kind of slow it down and, respect Gaethje more. As soon as Topuria's eye started to bleed a little bit, I think you saw Topuria give him a little bit more respect. Now, in rounds 2, when it really looked like Topuria was coming out there to put Gaethje out, and he was landing all those body shots against the cage, and then you saw Gaethje get backed up, that's when I lost hope. I was like, oh no, this is where it ends. This is where it ends for Gaethje. But it's a testament to Gaethje's durability that he's able to stand in there and take all those body shots, all those liver shots from Topuria. Gaethje has a chin unlike anybody I've ever seen. And there were a lot of questions going into this fight. Does Gaethje have the chin that he once had? I mean, does he have the durability? Because you saw him get knocked out by Max Holloway, a really brutal, scary KO. And, Justin's 37 years old. He's got 1 or 2 more fights until he's retired. Can Gaethje go in there and get hit by a guy like Illia Topuria? And he proved that not only was he able to go in there and get hit by him, but he's able to hit Topuria just as hard as Topuria was hitting him, if not harder. And over the 4 rounds, every shot that Gaethje gave Topuria, it looked like Gaethje was doing more damage, which is just shocking knowing how hard Topuria hits. I mean, I know more than anything Topuria wanted to come out here and put him out in the first round. And when he couldn't do it in the first round, you saw Topuria step it up in round 2. You saw him come out a little bit faster, hunting for that headshot, getting in that body work. But I'm really impressed with Gaethje's work here. The fact that Gaethje was able to do that is insane. Good for him. Congratulations to Justin Gaethje. He deserves every bit of this win. Doing this in front of the White House, in front of the president and his whole family, it's got to be a really special moment for him. I couldn't be happier for him. And if he calls it a career after this fight, then, what a better way to send off your career than a win against Illia Topuria. One of the most exciting fighters we've ever seen. If he calls it quits, I'd hate to see, Gaethje retire, obviously, anytime. I'd like to see him maybe fight one more time, but, he's got no real reason to keep fighting. I think he's proved who he is and what he's been able to do. He's finally got his hands on, real championship gold. He's no longer the interim champ. He is the champion. So good for Gaethje. As for what's next, I'm not sure. I'd love to see Topuria get right back in the mix, but I think he's probably going to take some time off. I think Topuria deserves some time off too. He'll probably take, longer than 6 months off. So that's totally reasonable, but what a career. Gaethje never fought an unranked fighter in his entire career. How crazy is that? Not once did he ever fight an unranked fighter. Year after year, he fought the best of the best competition. He's kind of like a guy like Dustin Poirier. He fought the best of the best every year, year after year. And nobody can say anything about Justin Gaethje's competition or his record or who he fought. He fought the best of the best. If that's the ending for Justin Gaethje, there's no better way to send it off. And congrats to him. I know Illia Topuria will be back. I'm sure he'll be back in a title shot fight very soon. So it'll be really interesting to see him bounce back. I think he'll have no problem, though. Now, looking forward, the next big fight that we have coming up is UFC 329, McGregor versus Holloway 2. Oh boy, I couldn't be more excited for this fight. This is going to happen on July 11th, so just in about a month. We've got less than 4 weeks until this fight. This is going to be really interesting because not only is Conor McGregor coming back finally after a 3-year hiatus, but they're fighting at 170 pounds, a weight class Max Holloway has never fought in. Max Holloway is kind of a small lightweight. Granted, he's 5'11", so he's tall, but he's kind of got a smaller frame, much smaller than McGregor. I know McGregor has really put on a lot of size since he left the UFC, and some of that may or may not have been from performance-enhancing drugs, but who knows? Probably. I'm not the one to say that. But it's going to be really interesting to see what type of a fighter is Conor going to be if he comes back. Because he broke his leg against Dustin Poirier. He kind of had a sad falling out, and then he has gotten involved in a lot of controversies. So how dedicated is Conor McGregor? And you have to ask yourself, do we think that he has the same dedication that he once had back in 2016, 2017? That answer is clearly no to me. I don't think that Conor McGregor's heart is really in it. I think he wants to come back and he wants to put on a show for the fans and wants to, put on an exciting fight, but Max Holloway's good. And Max Holloway is a really good striker, a really good boxer, albeit Max Holloway's not that one-punch knockout guy, and he's more of a volume striker, but this could go anyway. But nonetheless, I'm really excited to see this fight. It's coming up just here in a month, so I can't wait to break that fight down and give you guys a little bit more insight on what's coming. So stay tuned for more. Thank you guys for watching. See you soon.